Bartleby, there's this thing going on with the artificial intelligence and animals, and everyone thinks artificial intelligence, what a great thing! How wonderful it will be to be able to talk to animals. When we just do flips over ourselves to be able to talk to our dogs and cats. And yet, the danger really is what's going to happen with AI is probably going to be more on the exploitation side of what's happening with animals already. We'll use AI to figure out how to use animals more efficiently and more effectively, and therefore probably up the numbers of animals that are actually meeting their ends at the at the end, at the business end of a hot, sharp blade of steel. It's really kind of sad to me that this is what this beautiful, interesting technology will be used for. But this article from Australia really kind of raises a lot of, I mean, well, it goes through some of the really cool stuff about AI, but it talks about why there needs to be some kind of some kind of legislature around protecting animals from AI. They're saying that AI is being developed to detect pain in cats and dogs. Think about testing on cats. They'll be testing on cats and dogs. What they're going to do is inflict pain on cats and dogs, and then try to see if the AI can determine which dogs and cats are experiencing pain and which aren't. That might help if the technology is accurate, but could cause harm if it's inaccurate. I don't think it's a decent thing. AI to read the body language of animals to see if they're in pain in order to make veterinary services more efficient. It's an interesting idea, but don't forget how we're going to have to get there. We're going to have to literally inflict pain on animals that are being starved in order to get them to do tricks and comply to our demands, that we starve and deprive them of water in order to get them to do those things, we inflict pain on them, and then allow the AI's lens to determine which ones are indicating levels of pain. That is just more, laboratory hellscape stuff that you see already in laboratories across America. It's it really sucks. AI might also allow humans to decipher animal communication. They're talking about talking to whales and stuff. Wouldn't that be great, right? It'll be great to find out which trees and artificial structures are best for birds. Isn't that great? Maybe we can help the other bird tribes of the world. Wouldn't that be wonderful? But there's also these things that, even though all of these that I've just described have their negative side effects, because we're still messing with animals and we shouldn't be. But for example, it may be used by poachers and illegal wildlife traders to track and kill or capture endangered species, and AI powered algorithms used by social media platforms can connect crime gangs to customers, perpetuating the illegal wildlife trade. Wildlife trade is a major issue. It'll be even harder to apprehend the people who are committing wildlife crimes because they're now using AI not only to do the trapping, capture, all the nasty stuff, but then the distribution network also becomes more difficult to infiltrate because of AI. So, Bartleby, that's a tough one, right? Wildlife gangs already are doing really disgusting things to animals. How do you fight it if AI is the one doing all of the heavy lifting? AI chatbots may perpetuate negative attitudes about animals and their training data, perhaps suggesting their purpose is to be hunted or eaten. Of course, we've seen that. If anyone's talked to ChatGPT, you have to actually question ChatGPT's biases in order to get to what is clear logic, right? And it's really disheartening to hear AI tell you, first of all, call animals its and objects, and talk about how we use them, without any kind of just tip of the hat to the fact that they're living beings who are individuals and want to live. They don't like, and the AI doesn't see that. And so you have to go, wait a second, AI, wait a second, ChatGPT, aren't they living, breathing beings that want to? And they say, and the ChatGPT will acquiesce, will acknowledge the fact that animals want to live, but right at the first level, perpetuates negative attitudes about animals. And I don't think that I don't think there's a question about the correlation between violence on planet Earth and how we treat animals. As we treat animals more and more violently, I think we have more and more just apathy towards our fellow living humans. I think that that's well established. So it's sad to think that the AI, as the AI starts training us instead of just us training them. There's plans to use AI to distinguish cats from native species and then kill the cats. There you go. Using AI to determine which animals are killable and which aren't based on our bias. That is scary as hell. The question with this article is like, well, they might mislabel. They might get the species wrong. Using AI to tell me which ones are worth killing and which ones aren't is scary to me. Algorithms using AI tend to promote more salacious content, so they are likely to also recommend animal cruelty videos on various platforms. YouTube contains content involving animal abuse, horrific animal abuse. Of course it does. When something is so pervasive as animal exploitation and speciesism, it's hard not to traverse the planet and trip over it. You can't even get past the door without smelling the frying animal flesh every morning. I mean, I've been living in hotels. Every morning I smell animal flesh. Every morning. It's an Auschwitz for me, and I'm disgusted by it. It's always being shoved down our throat, and the more since people love salacious content, it's just going to be worse and worse as the AI is trained to carry out that one thing, which is eyeballs on screens. That's what the AI wants. You know what I'm saying? It also talks about Elon Musk, which who put a brain implant with Neuralink. They were rushing experiments. They cracked open monkey brains and super glued them back together in order to test AI. Just training the AI is hurting animals, and it really should bother everybody. What did the animals do to deserve this? What did they like not just Americans, but human beings, we invent AI. We're like, isn't this great? And the rest of the world has to suffer. All the other animals have to suffer. What did they have to do with it? Every time we invent a new thing like atomic power or anything, we invent anything, and all the rest of the animals are like, what did we do? Why do we have to be the one? What have we done to deserve this, Bartleby? How did I get involved? That's the one thing I always ask. People constantly are telling me, what about animals who do this or do that for us? What did they do to deserve to be enslaved in order to be used by us to smell bombs? Stop doing shit that people want to bomb you over. Work toward peace. Work toward peace. Stop using bomb sniffing dogs. I don't think it's fair that we invented the bombs. What do the dogs got to do with that? And you can argue that we invented dogs too, but that's a whole other thing. They used to be the proud wolf, don't forget. Researchers warn AI could estrange humans from animals and cause us to care less about them. That's exactly it. Imagine AI farms almost entirely run by smart systems that look after the animals, quote unquote. This would reduce opportunities for humans to notice and respond to animal needs. Yeah, I mean, that's always what they were going towards. We were always going towards this system of where animals are being tended to by robots because most humans don't want to do that job. That's why they get ex-cons, children, immigrants, anyone whose rights they can limit, anyone whose voices they can silence. Those are the ones that they like working with animals because let's face it, what we do to animals is anathema to human nature. It's not what we're supposed to be doing. It's not how we're supposed to feel. But if you can get an AI to do it, let me tell you, you're in luck because a robot don't complain. A robot doesn't feel. So it really is sad. And I think these are really good things to bring up. And I don't know what I can do to help legislature pass, but it's something that I think we should be at least including in the zeitgeist when we're talking about how great AI is or how dangerous AI is or however you feel about it. These are things that we also need to be considering if we are actually good stewards, if we actually have dominion, then we should at least be considering our subjects. If we indeed are, if we're going to continue to subscribe to this idea of supremacy, then we should at least consider what they go through. What do you think, Bartleby? I'd love to hear what you think about in the chat. And yeah, Bartleby. Oh, Bartleby. Oh, humanity.